Does live-in have like a expiry date
Don't celebrate your first kiss, celebrate your first fart.
together?
Yeah.
Have you heard the saying that you can never tell your woman that she's looking fat? Then she says you be honest, but if you're honest, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that the people in live-in find it harder to commit to marriage.
Well, you are already living somewhere and I'm moving in. What happens if we break up? What happens to the lease? You will still be there. I'm not going to have a roof over my head.
Get to know your partner better.
Definitely. You are
By the way, that could also go into cons. Like you don't know how, what ways.
a lot of surprises.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Vikram.
And this is Khushi.
Let's talk gibberish, Khushi.
Let's talk gibberish. Vikram, have you watched this movie Luka Chupi?
No, not really.
It's Kartik Aaryan, Kriti Sanon, apart
I've
Shakti
heard
Khurrana.
about it, but I've not seen it.
Okay, so it's a Bollywood movie about
I know that.
a couple moving in together.
Oh, nice. Live-in.
So the families are not so game with the fact that they want to live in. I mean, they don't know before.
Hmm.
So they do it elsewhere
So
in another
the-
city.
okay,
They want to experiment living together before they get married.
they don't elope and live in.
No. Yeah, technically, but like few members know and majority of their family members don't know.
Got it. Okay.
So what is your take on this concept of moving in together before you want to take your relationship to the next level?
I think it's pretty interesting. It's also bold because in a way, like, I mean, what is a marriage? Like, end of the day, I mean, of course, it is an important part, but it's an institution. It's a man-made institution, human-made institution. But if you're in love with each other and you plan to live in without signing the papers, it's quite a bold move in a way that it's like you don't have that security of marriage because that's that added pressure of society as well. So in a lot of ways, it's a bold move, but I think I'm for it. If it works for the couple, it's great. I don't see
Yeah.
anything wrong in that.
As long as the both of them want that.
Yeah.
It's cohabitation. It's just taking your relationship to the next level, making it
Definitely.
a little more deeper, more intimate in a lot of aspects. It's like a trailer that you watch before you are actually watching the movie.
Oh, it's a long trailer.
Yeah, but I think that is also subjective, depending on. There is no ideal duration for a couple to test the waters before you're actually.
Yeah,
you know?
I've never thought of that. Like, does live-in have like a expiry date? I don't know. I mean, I've never thought of that. Like people, how like would you say that a couple? I don't know if a couple should live in for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. I don't think that it comes like that, right? It really depends from one couple.
I
to another.
think it's more about being ready to take the next step. So when you know in your heart and your mind, I'm ready to take the next step, so you move in. And then you'll know when you want to get married if you want to get married.
I've planned weddings of some couples who were in live-in already, and it's kind of cute. Like the way they react to it is like we are as good as married. We're always together.
Yeah.
So for them, it's also like it's a lot more easy in the way they handle the
Right.
situation. For them, it's more like we are just doing this officially now. But for
Yeah.
us, it's cool because we're already living together.
Let's quickly do a pros and cons of living.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Pros first.
Yeah. I don't have much experience in this, but I think you get to know your partner better.
Definitely. You are
By the way, that could also go into cons. Like you don't know how, what ways.
a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
You are also understanding how financially capable your partner
Hmm.
is to manage your needs and your needs as a couple.
Also, you can adjust well to each other before the marriage, adapt.
Yeah, I
Adaptation.
think it's more practical to because imagine this. I'm sharing from personal experience. My parents got separated after 23 years. But had they gotten the opportunity of living in before marriage, I don't think either of them would be
together.
Yeah.
But
They wouldn't have gotten married.
but wouldn't that depend on the relationship, what kind of issues they are? Because some relationships have issues only after marriage.
After marriage, I agree, but
But if it's more to do with the
yeah,
nature of the
yeah,
person or
yeah, yeah.
something to do with their
This I'm
habits,
talking
yeah,
like only
yeah,
in
it's a great.
adherence to this.
Also, I think you get to learn a lot more about your partner when you're living with that person, right?
You discover potential areas of conflict that you could have after you're
Oh
married.
yeah,
If you're, yeah,
true. It could be something related to bathroom habits, sleeping habits,
yeah,
cooking habits,
yeah,
where you keep your shoes, anything, right?
exactly.
It can.
TV volume,
Oh yeah,
fan speed,
that's interesting. Yeah,
yeah, so many things. Alarm,
I didn't think of these things.
hygiene.
I want to talk a little more about the pros. What other things do you think are benefits of?
I think in in case God forbid, touch wood, y'all are breaking up, it's not going to be as messy as a divorce.
How about the fact that the benefits of starting to live a life together, in the sense, like, I know one of my best friends was in a live-in for 3 years, and I think that they started to cook together.
Hmm.
They started developing new hobbies together. They started a business together in Goa, and I think that those are things that you may not have discovered. You would
Absolutely.
do with your partner, and you start doing that now. So I think those are some other. I mean, basically, it gives a new dimension to the
Yeah, yeah,
relationship
absolutely.
altogether.
You discover a lot of sides of you when you're with this person. It's like you had a life, they had a life, and now y'all are starting a new life together, which, like you rightly pointed out,
Yeah.
might have so
and
many
the
layers.
and the financial one, which you said, like
Oh
sharing
yeah.
the rent or however
Oh
that
yeah,
works. Yeah.
it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Your um household chores get divided.
And what about stuff that, I mean, the cons? Like, what would you look at as the drawbacks?
If you're spending a lot of time with a certain person, you're bound to have more conflict. You're obviously going to have more fights. But it's the way you view it. It can be looked upon as a con, but it can also be turned into a pro, because every couple has healthy conflict.
Okay, I've been itching to see this. For me, the biggest issue with living is space.
Yeah.
Like, you're intruding on each other's space, or rather, you don't have any space. I mean, it's also like people who work together. I mean, I know uh, couples who are partners, and they love it. They love it. They're in the
Yeah.
same business together, or they are in the same work environment, workplace, workspace. But like, you're coming back home I mean, you're living together. It's, I mean, not that it's an issue, but I just feel like, given a choice, I would like a healthy space with my partner. Not that you can't do it in this, but I think that could be potentially a con in a case of a live-in.
But I think
Also, change of lifestyle may not necessarily be good. Like,
yeah.
having to adjust may not work well.
See, every couple who moves in together has to adapt
Oh, definitely, yeah.
and adjust to a certain degree. That is one thing. And secondly, with respect to space, if you have certain boundaries and non negotiables, is like, just communicated beforehand that this is something that I do just for
No,
myself.
I'll give you a small example. Like, it
Mhm.
could be something like, I like to work on my laptop before I go to bed.
Yeah.
If I have pending
So
items, I do it in
that
the
is
night.
your me time. So you
Yeah,
can
but that's
most
going to be
certainly have that time
no, but
before.
that is a problem if I'm in bed and I'm sleeping late because of my work hours.
Yeah.
And she's off to bed. I'm not going to be inconsiderate with the light on and working.
Maybe you
So
could do that in another room.
exactly. So that's what I mean by
Yeah.
adjustment,
Yeah.
or like encroaching on my space. That bed is my space of working. Now I'll have to go back to the TV room to do it. Right.
Exactly.
And I mean, I would do it out
Certain
of respect or love for
alterations.
the person.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Or
stuff like that probably is.
even the other person would understand that this is something that you do.
So, you mean I should tell her, wake up and go? That's okay. I would love to meet her.
Even she would accommodate, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So
but,
it's like a two-way stream.
but
right?
also hygiene, and like, I think
Other
I mean,
determinants.
space
So
is the
many
biggest
things. Yeah.
factor, but I would say, okay, I don't know if this is a
Cons.
con, but I feel like if you want to end it or break up, it's harder. Like, sometimes you're going to probably be stuck in a bubble because you guys are living in. So definitely, what normally would be your, say, the expiry date of a particular relationship, a failed relationship, say there's an expiry date, that would kind of extend purely because either one is dragging it because you're in the same house, you're living together, you moved in, you'll have your clothes, you have your
Right.
everything, you paid rent, you've made the done up the place. You're not going to break up easily. You're not going to, you kind of feel like, let me try to make it work, and it may not always be the right decision. So I think that's one thing I feel could be an issue.
But I feel that if you have reached that stage or reached that point in your relationship, you might have thought that this is what you want.
Yeah, but
And
no,
you might want to rethink breaking up.
no, but
So allowing yourself time
yeah, but
while you're in that space.
correct. But I mean, I think most people jump into live in. I'm not saying most. Many people jump into live in without thinking of that
That
part.
is
That what
true.
would happen if I want to end
That
it.
is true.
And I think when you're in that real scenario where you want to end it, you probably don't know how to do it.
True.
Also, I think I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that the people in live-in find it harder to commit to marriage. I feel it should be a transition or the next step. I don't think it should be harder, but maybe they are in a very different comfort zone, and so it's easy to not get into marriage after, or the marriage doesn't have the same significance. I
Mhm.
don't think that should be the case, though. Again, I
On that note, there is this reel that I had come across on Instagram. I want you to listen to it and then continue this conversation.
Transparency, I have lived with a boyfriend before. I have lived with somebody. I've played house. I've done it all. I would never do it again. I don't agree with it. Studies show that you have a much higher, I don't know what the exact percentage is, but you have a much higher chance of getting divorced when you cohabitate together before getting married. And I agree with that. Like,
Yeah.
I get it, because you know why? Relationships are so hard, and they get harder as time goes on. And the whole idea that you won't always be as in love as you were in the beginning is real. Love changes and it grows and it evolves. And so when you move in with somebody, it completely changes the dynamic. At some point, you can really run into something difficult when you start to feel like roommates. And I just think that without the commitment of marriage, it's like you move in, you start to feel like roommates, you think you're not in love, let's just break up and we'll go find people we are in love with. And then you do the same thing over and over and over again, because without that commitment, why would you stay? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I was thinking like our relationship with God. Like, there are days where I don't feel like I know I love God, but there are sometimes I don't feel that fire of loving him. But because I'm committed to him, I'm going to stay on this path to him because I have that commitment. And I don't know, but even though I don't always feel that way, you know what I mean?
Do you agree with her?
no.
Why not?
I mean, why? If you're in a relationship where you need a paper commitment,
Exactly.
a document to confirm your love, and
Exactly.
if she's saying that she's having breakups with the guys who she's with because they're like roommates,
Yeah.
then probably those relationships were bound to end anyway. In fact, she's saved because it's not a marriage. If she was in a marriage, she would be only in it because she has made that commitment
Exactly.
on paper.
Exactly. And I want to say something here. I saw this on Instagram as well. Don't celebrate your first kiss, celebrate your first fart. I think that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Even if you are okay.
I wouldn't celebrate, but yeah.
But I think moving in together, living together is bringing you closer with these
Yeah.
things also,
There's
right?
also a different kind
So
of comfort.
intimate,
Yeah.
So you are bound to feel like you are roommates, but that doesn't mean that the love will fade away. Maybe you'll have to put in more effort to spice things up. That is every relationship.
I do agree on one part, which is that I do agree with her that when you're married, your perspective might be different. Your perspective might be like, okay, this is my wife.
Yeah.
And things are going wrong with me and my wife. That pressure that we put as a society on us, that's a husband and wife, may make you work harder. But organically, if something is going wrong,
exactly.
it would go wrong now or later anyway.
I agree with what you're saying. If the level of commitment is making you believe that it's easier to leave when you're moving in versus when you're married, then you might as well leave because you don't have what it takes to get married.
Absolutely. Going further into this, like, I mean, talking about live-in as opposed to marriage, I mean, how different is it from marriage in the sense of moving in and moving with someone? Like, would you move in with a partner, or would you, I mean, would you ever, if you ever pro it, would you be okay the idea of moving with him, or would it be moving in with him in a new house?
I'm actually happy that you brought this up because this is so important. Moving in with somebody versus moving in together into a new place, I feel the latter makes more sense to me,
Ah, definitely.
only with respect to security. But like if you are human, for example, you are already living somewhere and I'm moving in. What happens if we break up? What happens to the lease? You will still be there. I'm not going to have a roof over my head. I know it is wrong of me to maybe assume that what if this happens, but you have to sometimes.
I do you think there is power dynamics in it? Like, if you're moving into someone's house,
But that is a new take.
there is a,
Yeah.
it's not in your script.
No, no. Yes.
What about the power dynamics? Like, what if
Hmm.
you're moving in into someone's house? It is his home.
Right.
It is his bedroom, his bathroom, and you're moving in. What about that? Like, that's
Yeah.
also, I think, a factor.
Or maybe if you're moving in with somebody, discuss these things, get your names. Like, if you're like cohabitating, then have both names on the lease.
That's not
Get that
possible
changed.
everywhere, but yeah.
Yeah,
Legally.
in India, though, I really doubt if
Yeah,
that could
but
happen.
also, what about moving in with someone who, I mean, by the way, I know people who move in with their partners even if they are with their parents. Like, in the sense, like, say for instance, you're one of whatever the guy, for instance, or the girl, whoever, whatever the case. Actually, it'll be the guy usually because of the society thing. But say the guy is from an affluent family and he lives in a big house, and his girlfriend is from another city,
Hmm.
and they met here in this city, and she's working here. He asked her to move in, or she spends more than half the days there, and she's practically moved in. Very common, very, very common, especially in cases where the parents don't have a problem.
Yeah.
But that again is another way where
So
you're,
scarce because finding Indian families who would support the idea of moving in, they would be like, "Shadi kar lo, fir jo bhi karna hai
yeah.
karo."
But I do think if they're in a proper healthy relationship, I think a lot of parents are okay if the girl is literally practically she's there first. It probably moves in. It's probably it's a different way. It's not like a
Yeah.
discussion. It's more like she hangs out a lot. Then she
Yeah,
starts coming couple
yeah.
of days, and then they're like, it's okay, just let her live here.
It's just like marriage without the paper.
Yeah. Do you think that's that's a good option in the sense when there is the parents involved? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think I would do it ever.
You have to be very mindful
I
about
wouldn't
it.
want my partner, I wouldn't want my girlfriend to actually be okay with that.
To know the crazy.
Yeah, like I would be like, yeah, unless she's like on a holiday,
Mhm.
that's different. But if like she's living in with me, no, that's not happening.
That's not happening.
With my parents, yeah, that will never happen.
But then what do you do? Like if you have parents who are dependent on you and you are in a very steady relationship and you
Hmm.
want to move in with someone,
Wow, that's an interesting
but
question.
how do you I think I know the answer to this, the very Indian way of thinking. Same building mein aur ek flat kharid lo.
This is the most common thing, right? It's
but
crazy.
it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
In India.
That's amazing. I'm just already thinking which flat is available in my building.
You already have to.
Yeah. No, but I think again, opposed to that, I think moving in together is also a lot more healthy in terms of experience, where it could be therapeutic, right? Like, you go get your own furniture together, you redo the place together, you put your
Right.
names together,
Right.
and you have your room, you have your space, you have this is my powder room, or this is my bathroom, and this is my
What is
changing room.
powder room?
Like, wherever she wants to go to change
Acha.
or use it for a longer time, if she's getting ready there, however it
Okay.
works.
Yeah.
This is my wardrobe space. So yeah, I think that makes more sense, right? I'm asking you something, you tell me honestly. If you're in a position where I ask you to imagine yourself in a very happy, healthy relationship which is steady for a while, or rather, let's put it this way: at what point do you see yourself if you're in a relationship, moving in with your partner into a new house?
I think when I'm financially capable of fending for myself and another person completely.
So
But
you're not averse to the idea of living,
no, no. I'm definitely going to do it at some point of time in my
and
life. When
you think it's a must for you? Like in your case, do you think it's a must at this point?
must
It can
for
change
me.
before a
Must for
marriage. You
me.
think it's something you want to try?
Yes. Yes, definitely. Definitely. What about you?
I mean, I don't think it's a must from where I see.
Yeah.
I'm open to it,
Okay.
but I think it's based on also. It's also dependent on the kind of person you date, right? Or who
Right.
you're in a relationship with. But I think if it's a situation where I need to, yeah. But I think that you learn a lot. Obviously, it's not the same as living in, but I think traveling together is something you get to know a lot too. So I'm very open to the idea of dating someone, traveling together, getting to know them, and then maybe
Then
even
eventually move in.
move in or marriage based on, like, for instance,
Yeah.
if I'm very much in love with the girl and she's not big on marriage, or she like, I need more time to marry, but I'm open, then I might consider. So I
Yeah.
think in my case it's very circumstantial,
Yeah, very
but I'm
circumstantial.
open to the idea. And if you ask me, I think that, I mean, like you said, like where I'm placed in life, I think I'm in a place where I could move in with
You
someone.
could move in
Yeah.
with someone. Is there any specific amount of time that you would want to date the person before you would move in?
It's an interesting question.
Because it's going to be very different for you and for me.
I don't see myself moving in with anyone if I've not been in a relationship with them for at least 1 year.
Okay, fair.
I don't see that happening.
Okay.
Do you see that happening?
Not for, definitely not
I
a
mean,
year.
yeah, like
More than that.
yeah, probably more.
That too not in Bombay. So first I have some time in Bombay, then when
I think
I'm out.
considering that you may potentially be abroad at
Yeah.
some point in your coming years, I think the chance of you moving in a lot more with someone, because you all are both living in a different country and you all meet. Suppose you meet someone there
Yeah.
who's, say, from India, wherever, and they both are in
Yeah.
that country. You both are in the same country. That makes sense even financially.
Yeah, it does. But then again, it's so uncertain because you don't have any security or any kind of assurance that you're going to be settling there. So would you want to, take that step in your relationship? Okay, what if I don't get a job and I'm done with my studies? What if I have to come back to India?
That's a good point. But
And then what if I leave that other person
but
hanging?
in
high and
fact,
dry?
I feel like, because, and again, I have not done this, but a lot of my close friends have done this, quite a few. I think that living in together in a third country makes more sense because it's financially right. It's
Yeah.
also because you're alone there, you don't have enough friends, or you don't know a lot of people, you don't have enough people you trust.
Exactly.
There it makes more sense.
And you're also homesick.
You're homesick.
So you have a companion with
and
you.
you
Yes.
you get to cook together. Like in
Yes.
Bombay, you may not even care to cook.
Yeah.
But there you're going to cook together. So there's a lot of more pros in doing it
than
abroad.
cons. Yeah.
I would definitely do it if I was not living in India.
And it's also a lot more easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the kind of pressure that the society or even the family that would just
Yeah.
put on you.
I think culturally we are not,
Yeah.
we don't come from a culture where we believe in living. We are big on weddings, marriages,
Yeah.
as you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's very much, I mean, it's fine, it's fair. And it gets harder, I think, for our families to digest or understand this. So I think the society thing, I mean, to the point where obviously there are many buildings where they don't allow you to have
Exactly.
live-in people, like
Live-in
without
is
marriage. Yeah.
far-fetched. Even people who are unmarried, like just guys, bachelors,
Oh yeah.
or girls, even that
Even
is not
single
allowed.
girls, single girls
Exactly.
who are working.
So reaching a point where
Yeah.
they would allow
It's
people,
not acceptable.
yeah, I think it's going to take some time in
Yeah.
India.
So that is another challenge. I mean, that's a whole different ball game, right?
Yeah. And I think things are also changing for the better in India. One of the states has passed a bill where it's mandatory to register that you're living in together.
Right.
But I think if you see that from the point of view of acceptance coming into the country, that no, it can be acceptable that you are living in together.
I mean, there are two ways to look at it. One is that putting a system in place is a good thing.
Yeah.
As long as the system is making it easier for people to live, or rather easier for the citizens of the country. That's one way. And the other thing, of course, is to look at it in a way where maybe that we are talking about it openly. so it could eventually be acceptable. But I mean, again, there's always two sides to the coin,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think you have to respect both sides. And as long as it's not coming in the way of someone's freedom or
Definitely.
democratic right to live, I would say that
Definitely.
it's fine if having a system in place. It's not as easy as it looks.
As it
Like I
looks
said, if
like.
the system is in place to make life easier or more transparent for everyone, there's nothing wrong in it.
So tell me one thing. On what percentage should your rent be divided? Should it be a 50-50, or should it be based on the earning capacity?
I don't know if I can say should be, because I think it's a very personal thing for each couple.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, Also, I'm pretty sure it's complicated in the sense that there's also talk about the grocery and the shopping and the internet and the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi and who pays for all that. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how detailed that could go, but I think that uh, I would say if it was me and it was my partner and I was sharing, then I would probably share in a ratio based on the earning.
Earning.
I would go by, if I think that she's not earning as much as I am, or she doesn't need to take that burden, I would definitely take the burden, that share of the burden.
And it also depends, sorry, this influences the spending patterns, like, your spending amounts.
Yeah.
If I am earning more and I would want to spend more on leisure, and if my partner is earning less and would not want to, so I wouldn't definitely want to burden my partner
That
on
reminds
this.
me, you also get to see how your partner is. Like if I land up seeing her shopping every day and spending on that, but not having the money for the
Yeah,
rent.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, I agree with you.
But I
The
think
ratio.
the ratio. I'm guessing most are 50-50 on rent. I'm guessing most people will move in together. They
Hmm.
share the rent equally.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I'm not sure how it is. And also, like I said, it's not only rent, right? It's
Yeah, so many more.
electricity, it's
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, it's the cable, whatever.
Yeah.
All of that expenses as well.
And I think you also have to keep that
The grocery.
room for your partner and you to experience growth or like downfall. So if your partner is promoted, then what do? Will the percentage change? So you have to be very communicative of that. If you get demoted and your salary is lower than what it was.
I'm guessing that when you're in a relationship with someone, because this is different from flatmate.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're in relationships with someone and you kind of, I mean, you're in love with the person, I'm guessing. If you're in love with the person, I think that it naturally will come out from you if you start earning enough, saying that, hey, listen, I feel I need to be equal. All this time you've been taking the burden, I would like to. I think that is something.
But I think you can only do that till a certain point of time. That line is very, very fine. Like the minute you start taking it the other way, and then you start thinking of that as a burden, you just can't predict when that happens.
In the sense, I didn't understand.
Like, okay, I would want to do something for you, and I'm doing it for you. Sometimes you would recognize, most times you would not recognize. But like, there would be a point of time where I will remember that, no, I have done this for you. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Are you trying to say that one person keeps doing and they keep noticing it?
No, I'm talking only with respect to finances. You can only do it up until a certain point of time. It shouldn't become a norm that that person is doing and the other person is, very comfortable now.
That's why I said that if you're in a relationship with someone who's in love with you, or that person loves you, they themselves will come up and say that I can see that you're taking up so much of the pressure and I want to take off some of the mantle. It's a natural thing that you would expect your partner to do if you're genuinely, authentically in a relationship.
But you're not entitled to do that forever. That is only what I'm trying to say.
You're talking from a perspective of the one who is paying more.
Yeah.
I'm talking from the perspective of who's paying less.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
So
If I'm the
eventually, I
one
think
paying
it'll
less-
have to level.
If I'm the one paying less and I start earning more, I will naturally go and tell her that I want to contribute more. This is what I'm
Definitely.
trying to say. But you're talking from a perspective of a person who's paying more. If you're paying more, then you should be wise enough to understand till what extent you're ready to pay.
Yeah.
And if you feel that you're being taken advantage of, and then you
Yeah,
need to know
done,
when to cut
right.
the cord off, right?
The other way around also. What if you start feeling guilty about the fact that you are earning less, your partner is earning more, is showering you with like gifts here and there?
No, I also know about relationships where the one who's earning more deliberately gives cheaper items to the partner because the
Really?
partner has guilt that he can't give her back items which are expensive.
What are you
It's
saying?
also kind of like he feels little downgraded because she's giving expensive gifts because he's like, I can't give you back. So you have to be very sensitive about how that person takes it as well.
Hmm.
Same comes with this. You can't tell someone, listen, you're not earning enough, you pay 20%. You probably need to find a fine balance where you're not hitting the person's
yeah,
ego or pride,
yeah.
whatever sex, whether it's a
Hmm.
man or a woman, whoever is paying less, however the case
Mhm.
might be in their relationship. I think you or whatever.
So I think
Yes.
all we derive out of all of this financial talk that we've done is being communicative about these financial factors.
Yeah. But
Being,
again, I'm coming back to the same thing that if you're in love and y'all are both in a relationship equally in love, then you will bring up this topic on your own if you're living together.
and I
You will
think it is okay.
bring up the financial topic.
Yeah,
One who's feeling guilty, the one who's feeling less guilty, both will
Hmm.
bring it up.
definitely. And then you communicate and you sort it out, whatever it is. So Vikram, what are your non-negotiables of moving in together?
I have quite a list, very peculiar.
Start.
But
Go
you're
on,
going to
we're
have
all
to
yours.
follow this up with your
Done.
yeah.
Done.
I mean, I've seen a bit. I mean, I've not been in a live-in, but I've seen
Yeah.
a bit of things that I'm anal about when I've had girlfriends over
Yeah.
while in a relationship. I would say. So I tend to have a specific place where I keep my keys, my wallet, everything, and also like when I wake up, I need my quilt folded. I would fold and keep it there. So I would want that probably. At least what's in front of me. I don't care what's happening in a wardrobe.
Okay.
But if we are living in, I would want things in a specific way in that. And I think that's a real problem. That's a non-negotiable for me. Even like where I keep the shoes when you come
Yes.
out, when you come home and where you throw the
Yes.
shoes. I think that's one. Second, I would say hygiene in general. I think that's in any relationship.
Yeah.
I would go for that. I guess certain number of days in which you can wash your plates. Not days, I would say maybe a day maximum, not having soiled plates around.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you can chime in with your ideas of what thoughts of.
I am a big time type A personality. I am very particular about my things. Like you said, you are. Everything has a place. And I think it needs to be done there and then. I don't like to linger things. Obviously, I know if I'm going to be moving in with someone, I'm going to have to adjust and probably give him, like, give that kind of space to the other person to do things in their own time. But I think it's going to be very hard for me to accommodate to theirs.
Do you have like one side of the bed?
Yeah, one side of the bed, I have, like, even on my study desk, everything is at a particular angle. It cannot move. It just cannot move. Like the towel, it has to be out.
So
My
it's-
bathroom needs to be dry. It needs to be dry.
Yeah,
It
same.
can't be wet.
And left side of the bed or right side of the bed?
Right side of the bed.
Oh, me too. Right side of the bed.
It's actually more
Closer to the
with
bathroom.
no, equidistant from my window and my bathroom.
Wow.
So yeah, I need complete darkness before I sleep.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting one too. Some people
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
What about temperature? Is that important?
Oh my god, this is such a big topic. I get cold too easy.
Yeah, me too. But I think I would that's something I would adjust. If I think that there's someone who has a problem, I would probably
I
take
would
two
try.
blankets and I'll
Yeah,
try.
yeah.
That's something
I could
would adjust.
definitely try.
I couldn't adjust with the cap for sure of the toothpaste.
But where did that come from?
I mean, I think because I felt like I remember waking up and she had the toothpaste placed on the basin and she had the cap placed. And I thought that it's right next to each other. She can see the toothpaste and cap on.
Yeah.
All she had to do is put the cap back.
And then put the toothpaste also back.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
that's where it began from. And I saw it in a few other things like the lens solution. And there was a very hygienic woman, by the way.
Okay.
Nothing of that sort. It's just that probably she thought someone else will do it. She came from that kind of background.
Talking about
Yeah, but
yeah.
lens solution, like, and used to wear lenses, and she also used to wear, and I used to have the lens cap removed, and I'm like, just all you do is put the cap back and roll it, like,
Yeah.
so that
Talking about hygiene, I have a very embarrassing story. If there is no judgment,
I have never any judgment on anyone.
I'm an extremely hygienic person, but there was this one time I was dating this guy, and we ordered salads for each other.
Wow. Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
and we had the salads, and there was some amount of onion in the salad, and he went and he took care of it. He had gum or he brushed his teeth or whatever. I didn't, and then we started being intimate. And he point blankly told me on my face, like, first can you do it? So my
so
my
so
point
you're going to be
being
the
here,
problem in the living, huh?
I think that we've already established by now. But how open can you be when you are not comfortable?
Oh, that's a very good point. I don't
Yeah.
think I can be 100% open if I think it's too below the belt.
But if you're saying this now, if you've crossed some amount of time and it's beyond tolerable, you would have to say certain things that
have,
you won't.
have you heard the saying that you can never tell your woman that she's looking fat? Then she says you be honest, but if you're honest then you're screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from the same thing comes all these things, because I've tried it. For example, I don't think I want to share my toothbrush ever.
Yeah, never. Never.
I've seen this in a couple of sitcoms.
Yeah.
Where the guy is trying to avoid and the girl is like, no, I want to share. Oh, I'm not doing that.
that is just horrendous.
So that's another one, I would
some
say.
things I think you just have to live with then.
Yeah. I think even I would say the most possible the issue that I might face a lot, which is not to do with living so much, but it's the lifestyle, would be like, for example, if that person's not as much into fitness as I am, or if they're lazy and they're not into workouts.
Yes.
I see that now as a huge thing, because I
Yes.
think that I've seen people together where one is and one is not, and it can be a problem. And the other one being cooking, what kind of food, like veg, non-veg, or like healthy food, not healthy food. I think to be aligned, it's good to be different, but I think those are few things which you should be on the same page. I feel it works better for the relationship.
Also, alcoholism.
Oh yeah.
Smoking.
Yeah, all of that.
If your
Alcohol,
partner
smoking
is
up, smoking, cigarettes, all
Yeah.
of that, yeah.
vaping.
Would you ever date someone who doesn't drink alcohol?
Yeah. Alcohol, but I don't think I can live with a smoker.
Yeah, me too, because I don't. But I mean, I would be very disappointed if my partner doesn't drink. It's okay. What about pets though? Like
My mom never allowed, so I would want my partner to be open to the idea of getting a pet.
and then specific pets like dogs, cats.
I'm an animal lover. Get any pet, I'll be okay with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No nakras when it comes to no cats or no dogs.
I've also realized from seeing other couples that I think having a pet is also like a next step in a relationship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's also kind of parenting.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a dog, like you're parenting. Like you cannot,
Yeah.
although it comes with a lot of difficulties, like
Mhm.
because you can't
Yeah.
leave the dog alone, and you have to,
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
Like
you can't
just
travel.
like live-in is pre-marriage.
Yeah.
And getting a pet is pre-baby.
Pre-baby, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I would not invest into the idea of a dog, a pet, for that
Okay.
matter, in a live-in.
Why
Soon.
not?
Because I feel like, I mean, what I've heard of a story
Go
from
on.
one of our producers of a breakup where the girl asked the guy to she was offering him money to buy the dog of her.
To buy the
dog of him
dog?
after the breakup, because she obviously wanted. So what do you do if you buy the pet together? Like, what if you get a live-in and then you have a dog and then
I have a solution to this problem.
this is like,
Both of you stand apart and then let the dog decide which one
Oh, yeah,
the
that's a
dog
good
is
one.
choosing, and then just make peace with it.
yeah. Imagine you start doing that in divorces with children.
I mean, that is what should happen.
No, that should not be the way it should happen.
Really?
No. Please let the legal system handle this. So, Khushi, is it safe to say that Gen Z's, the probability of a Gen Z being in a live-in is a lot less than that of a millennial.
I personally agree with you, but I think I'm going to ask the audience to let us know what they think in the comments.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Gibberish. Like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you next time.